Act 3, Henry IV, Part 1. Scene 1, Bangor, a room in the Archdeacon's house. Enter Hotspur, Worcester, Mortimer, and Glendower. These promises are fair, the party sure, and our induction full of prosperous hope. Lord Mortimer and Cousin Glendower, will you sit down? And Uncle Worcester, a plague upon it. I forgot. No, here it is. Sit, Cousin Percy, sit, good Cousin Hotspur. For by that name, as oft as Lancaster does speak of you, his cheek looks pale, and with a rising sigh he wishes you in heaven. And you in hell, as often as he hears Owen Glendower spoke of. I cannot blame him. At my nativity in front of heaven, with full fiery shapes, of burning crescents, and at my birth the frame and huge foundation of the earth, shaked like a coward. Why, so would have done at the same season, if your mother cat had been kittens through yourself, had never been born. I say the earth did shake when I was born, and I say the earth was not in my mind. If you suppose as fearing you it shook. The heavens were all on fire, the earth did tremble. Then the earth shook to see the heavens on fire, and did not in fear of your nativity. Disease, nature of oftentimes break forth in strange eruptions. Off the teeming earth is with kind of holy pinched and vexed by the imprisonment of unclean windows and removed, which with an awesome shroud shakes the old building earth. And topless down, steeples and moss ground tower, at your birth, our grandam earth, having this distemperature and passion shook. Cousin, of many men I do not bear these crossings. Give me leave to tell you once again that at my birth the front of heaven was full of fiery shakes. The goats ran from the mountains and herds, were strangely clamorous in the frightened fields. These signs have marked me extraordinary. In all the courses of my life to show I am not in the lower common. Where is he living? Clipped in with the sea that chides the banks of England, Scotland, Wales, which calls me pupil, or hath read to me. And bring him out that is but woman's son, can trace me in the tedious ways of art, and hold me pace in deep experiments. I think there's no man speaks better Welsh. Out to dinner. Peace, Cousin Percy, you will make him mad. I can call spirits from the vasty deep. Why, so can I, or so can any man. But will they come when you do call for them? Why, I can teach thee, cousin, to command the devil, and I can teach thee, cuz, to shame the devil by telling truth. Tell truth to shame the devil. If thou have power to raise him, bring him hither, and I'll be sworn I have power to shame him hence. While you live, tell the truth to shame the devil. Come, no more of this unprofitable chat. 3 times has Henry Bolingbroke made heed against my power, thrice from the banks of Wye. And sandy bottom severn have I sent him, bootless home and weather-beaten back. Home without boots, and in foul weather too. How scapes he eggs in the devil's name? Come, here's the map. Shall we divide our right according to our threefold order 10? The Archdeacon hath divided it into 3 limits very equally. England, from Trent and Severn hitherto, by south and east, it is my part assigned. All westward, Wales beyond Severn's shore, and all the fertile land within the bound, to Owen Glendower, and dear cuz to you, the remnant northward, lying off from Trent, and our indentures, tripartite, are drawn, which being sealed interchangeably, a business that this night may execute tomorrow. Cousin Percy, you and I, and my good Lord of Worcester, will set forth to meet your father and Scotch power, as is appointed us, at Shrewsbury. My father Glendower is not ready yet, nor shall we need his help these 14 days. Within that space you may have drawn together your tenants, friends, and neighboring women. A shorter time shall send me to you, lords, and in my conduct shall your ladies come, from whom you now must steal and take no leave, and there will be a world of water shed upon the parting of your wives and you. Methinks my moiety, north from Burton here, in quantity equals not one of yours. See how this river comes me cranking in, and cuts me from the best of all mine. A huge half-moon, a monstrous cantle out. I'll have the current in this place dammed up, and here the smug and silver Trent shall run in a new channel. Fair and evenly, it shall not wind, and such a deep indent do rob me of so wretched a bottom here. Not wind? It shall, it must, you see it doth. Yeah, but mark how he bears his course, and runs me up with like advantage on the other side, gelding the opposed continent as much as on the other side it takes from you. Yeah, but a little charge will trench him here, and on this north side win this cape of land, and then he runs straight and even. I'll have it so, a little charge will do it. I will not have it altered. Will not you? No, nor you shall not. Who shall say me nay? Why, that will I. Let me not understand you then. Speak it in Welsh. I can speak English, lord, as well as you, for I was trained up in English court, where being but young I framed to the harp many an English ditty lovely well, and gave the tongue an elful ornament, a virtue that was never seen in you. Marry, and I'm glad of it, with all my heart. I had rather be a kitten and cry mew than one of these same meter ballad mongers. I'd rather hear a brazen canstic turn or a dry wheel grate on the axle tree, and that would set my teeth, nothing on edge. Nothing so much as mincing poetry, 'tis like the forced gait of a shuffling nag. Come, you shall have the Trent turned. I do not care, I'll give thrice so much land to any well-deserving friend. But in the way of bargain, mark you me, I'll cavil on the 9th part of an hair. Are the indentures drawn? Shall we be gone? The moon shines fair. You may away by night. I'll haste to ride her, and withal break your wise of your departure hence. I'm afraid my daughter will run mad, so much she doteth on her Mortimer. Fie, cousin Percy, how you cross my father. I cannot choose. Sometimes he angers me, will telling me of the mold warp and the ant of the dreamer Merlin and his prophecies, and of a dragon and a finless fish, a clipped-winged griffin and a molten raven, a couching lion and a ramping cat. And such a deal of skimple-scample stuff as puts me from my faith. I'll tell thee what. He held me last night at least 9 hours in reckoning up the several devils' names, that where his lackeys I cried, hum, and well, go to, but marked him not a word. Oi, he's as tedious as a tired horse, a railing wife, worse than a smoky house. I had rather live with a cheese and garlic and a windmill, far than feed on cates and have him talk to me in any summer house in Christendom. In faith, he's a worthy gentleman, exceedingly well-read, prodigal in strange concealment, valiant as a lion, wondrous, affable, and as bountiful as my youth. Shall I tell you, cousin? He holds your temper in high respect, and curves himself even as a natural scope when you cross his humor. Faith, he does. I warrant you that man is not might so have done the things you have done, without taste of danger and reproof. But do not use it oft. Let me entreat you. In faith, my lord, you are too wilful blame. And since your coming hither have done enough to put him quite beside his patience, you must needs learn, lord, to amend this fault. Though sometimes it showed greatness, courage, and blood, and that's the dearest grace it renders you. Yet oftentimes it doth represent hearth rage, defect of manners, want of government, pride, haughtiness, opinion, and disdain, the least of which haunting a nobleman loseth men's hearts and leaves behind a stain upon the beauty of all parts of his life, beguiling them of commendation. Well, I am schooled. Good manners be your speed. Here comes our wives, and let us take our leave. We enter Glendower with the ladies. This is the deadly spite to the angry man. My wife can speak no English, I know Welsh. My daughter weeps, she will not part with you. She'll be a soldier too, she'll be on the wars. Good father, tell her that she and my Aunt Percy shall follow in your conduct speedily. She's desperate here. A peevish, self-willed harlotry, one that no persuasion could do good upon. I understand thy look. That pretty Welsh which thou pourest down from these swelling heavens, I am too perfect in, and but for shame, in such a parley would I enter thee. I understand thy kisses and thou mine, and that's the grand disputation, but I will never be a trunk love, till I have learned thy language, for thy tongue makes Welsh as sweet as ditties highly penned, sung by fair queen in the summer's bower, with a ravishing division to her lute. Nay, if you melt, then will she run mad? Boy, I am ignorant itself in this. She bids you upon the wanton rushes lay you down, and rest your gentle head upon your lap. And she will sing the song that pleaseth you, and on your eyelids crown the god of sleep, charming your blood with giving happiness, making such difference betwixt wake and sleep, as is the difference between day and night. The hour before the heavenly harness team begins his golden progress. With all my heart, I'll sit and hear they sing. By that time, our book, we shall. And those musicians that shall place me hang in the air 1,000 years from hence. And straight they shall be here, sit and attend. Come, Kate, thou art perfect in lying down. Come, quick, quick, that I may lay my head in thy lap. Go, you giddy goose. Now, I perceive the devil understands Welsh, and 'tis no marvel he is so humorous. Byre, lady, he's a good musician. Then should you be nothing but musical, for you are altogether governed by humours. Lie still, ye thief, and hear the lady sing in Welsh. I'd rather hear lady, my brash, howl in Irish. Wouldst thou have thy head broken? No, then be still. Neither 'tis a woman's fault. Now, God help thee. To the Welsh lady's bed. What's that? Peace, she sings. Come, Kate, I'll have your song too. Not mine in good sooth, not yours in good sooth. Heart, you swear like a comfort maker's wife, not you in good sooth. And as true as I live, and as God shall mend me, and as sure as day, and give us such sarcenet surety for thy oaths. And if thou never walkest further than Finsbury, swear me, Kate, like a lady as thou art, a good mouth-filling oath and leave in sooth, and such protests of pepper gingerbread, to velvet guards and Sunday citizens. Come, sing. I will not sing. 'Tis the next way to turn tailor, or be red-breast teacher, and the indentures be drawn. I'll away within these 2 hours, and so come and when ye will. Come, come, Lord Murder, you are slow as hot Lord Percy's on fire to go. By this our book is drawn. We will but seal and then to horse immediately. With all my heart. Scene 2! London, a room in the palace. Enter King Henry, the Prince, and roars. Lord, give us leave. The Prince of Wales and I must have some private conference, but be near at hand, for we shall presently have need of you. I know not whether God will have it so, for some displeasing service I have done, that in this secret doom, out of my blood, he'll breed ravishment and a scourge for me. But thou dost in thy passage of life make me believe that thou art only marked for the hot vengeance and the rod of heaven to punish my mistreatments. Tell me, else, could such inordinate and low desires, such poor, such bare, such rude, such mean attempts, such barren pleasures, rude society as thou art matched withal and graphic to accompany the greatness of thy blood, and hold their level with the princely heart? So please your majesty, I would I could quit all offences as clear excuses, as well as I am, doubtless, I can purge myself of many I am charged withal. Yet such extenuation let me beg, as in reproof of many tales devise, which oft the ear of greatness need must hear, by smiling pig thanks and base newsmongers. I may, for some things true, where in my youth hath faulty wandered any, and irregular find pardon on my true submission. God pardon thee. Yet let me wonder, Harry, at thy affections, which do hold a wing quite from the flight of all the ancestors. Thy place in council thou hast rudely lost, which by thy younger brother is supplied, and art almost an alien to the hearts of all the heart, of all the courts and princes of my blood. The hope and expectation of thy time is ruined, and the soul of every man prophetically do forethink they fall. Had I so lavish in my presence been, so common hackneyed, in the eyes of men so stale and cheap to vulgar company, opinion that did help me to the crown, had still kept loyal to possession and left me in reputeless banishment, a fellow of no mark nor likelihood, by being seldom seen. I could not stir, but like a comet I was wondered at, that men would tell their children, 'tis as he, others would say where, which is boiling broke. And then I stole all courtesy from heaven, and dressed myself in such humility, that I did pluck allegiance from men's heart, loud shouts and salutations from their mouths, even in the presence of the crowned king. Thus did I keep my person fresh and new, my presence like a robe pontificial, ne'er seen but wondered at. And so my state, some but sumptuous, showed like a feast won by rareness, such solemnity. The skipping king, showers, jesters, and rash Baden wits, soon kiln, soon burnt, carded his state, mingled his royalty with capering fools. Had his great name profaned with their scorns, and gave his countenance against his neighbor, to laugh at giving boys and stand the push of every beardless fame comparative. Grew a companion to the college streets, and flew oft himself to popularity, that being daily swallowed by men's eyes, had surfeited with honey, and began to loathe the taste of sweetness, whereof a little more than a little is by much too much. So, when he had occasion to be seen, he was but as a cocoon did from June, heard not heard, seen but with such eyes as thick and blunted with community, afford no extraordinary gaze, such as is bent on sun-like majesty when in shine seldom and admiring eyes, but rather drowsed and hunger eyelids down, slept in his face, and rendered such aspects highly manifest to their adversaries, being with his presence blooded, gorged, and full. And in that very line, Harry, standest thou, for thou hast lost thy princely privilege with vile participation, not in eye, but is a weary of thy common self, save mine, which hath desire to see thee more, which now doth that I would not have it do, make blind as that with foolish tenderness. I shall hereafter, my thrice gracious lord, be more myself, for all the world, as thou art to this hour with Richard then, when I from France set foot at Ravensburg, and even as I was then as Percy now but my sceptre and my soul to boot, he hath more worthy interest to take than now the shadow of succession, for of no life to right, turn the head against lines on laws, and be no more as years from now, these ancient rulers and reverend bishops on the bloody down, what never dying honor hath he got against renowned Douglas, whose high deeds, whose hot incursions and great name in arms holds from all soldiers chief majority and military title capital, through all the kingdoms that acknowledge Christ. Thrice has this Hotspur, Mars and swathing clothes, this infant warrior in his enterprises, discomfited great Douglas, ta'en him once, enlarged him and made a friend of him, to fill the mouth of deep defiance, up and shake the peace and safety of our place. And what say you to this? Percy, Northumberland, the Archbishop's Grace of York, Douglas Mortimer, capitulate against us in our eyes. But wherefore do I tell these news to thee? Why, here do I tell thee of my foes, which art my nearest and dearest enemy? Thou that art like enough, through vassal fear, base inclination, and starkest gleam, to fight against my under-parses' pay, dog at his heels and courtesy at his frowns, to show him much thou art degenerate. Do not think so, you shall not find it so, and God forgive them, and so much hath swayed your majesty's good thoughts away from me. I will redeem all this on Percy's head, and in the closing of some glorious day be bold to tell you that I am your son. When I will wear a garment all of blood, and stain my favors in a bloody mask, which washed away shall scour my shame with it, and that shall be the day, whene'er it delights, that this same child of honor and renown, this gallant Hotspur, this all-praised knight, and your unthought of Harry chance to meet, for every honor sitting on this helm. Would they were multitude, and on my head my shame redoubled. For the time will come that I shall make this northern youth exchange his glorious deeds for my indignities. Percy is but my factor, good my lord, to engross up glorious deeds on my behalf. And I will call him to so strict account that he shall render every glory up, yea, even the slightest worship of his time, or I will tear the reckoning from his heart. This in the name of God I promise here, the which, if he be pleased, I shall perform. I do beseech your majesty may salve the long-grown wounds of my intemperance. If not, the end of life cancels all bands, and I will die 100,000 deaths ere break the smallest parcel of this vow. 100,000 rebel die in this. Thou shalt have charge and sovereign trust therein. Enter Sir Walter Blunt. How now, good Blunt, thy looks are full of speed. So hath the business that I come to speak of. Lord Mortimer of Scotland hath sent word that Douglas and the English rebels met, the 11th of this month at Shrewsbury. A mighty and a fearful head they are, if promises be kept on every kind, as ever offered foul play in a state. The Earl of Westmoreland set forth today, with him my son, Lord John of Lancaster, for this advertisement is 5 days old. On Wednesday next, Harry, you shall set forward. On Thursday we ourselves will march. Our meeting is Bridgenorth. And Harry, you shall march through Gloucestershire, by which account our business valued some 12 days hence our general forces at Bridgenorth shall meet. Our hands are full of business. Let's away. Advantage feeds him fat while men delay. I'm like shaking. It's Scene 3. Henry the Fourth. Eastcheap, a room in the Boar's Head Tavern. Enter Falstaff and Bardolph. Bardolph, am I not fallen away vilely since this last action? Do I not bate? Do I not dwindle? Why, my skin hangs about me like an old lady's loose gown. I am withered like an old apple john. Well, I'll repent, and that suddenly while I am in some liking, I shall be out of heart shortly, and then I shall have no strength to repent. And I have not forgotten what the inside of a church is made of. I am a peppercorn, a brewer's horse, the inside of a church. Company, villainous company, hath been the spoil of me. Sir John, you are so fretful, you cannot live long. Why, there is it. Come, sing me a bawdy song. Make me merry. I was as virtuously given as a gentleman need to be. Virtuous enough, swore little, diced not above 7 times a week. Went to a bawdy house not above once in a quarter of an hour, paid money that I borrowed 3 or 4 times. Lived well in good compass, and now I live out of all order, out of all compass. Why, you are so fat, Sir John, that you must needs be out of all compass, out of all reasonable compass. Sir John, do thou amend thy face, and I'll amend my life. Thou art our admiral, thou bearest the lanthorn in the poop, but 'tis in the nose of thee, thou art the knight of the burning lamp. Why, Sir John, my face does you no harm. No, I'll be sworn, I make as good use of it as many a man doth of a dead's head, or a memento mori. I never see thy face, but I think upon hell fire, and Dives that lived in purple, for there he is in his robes, burning, burning, if thou wert any way given to virtue. I would swear by thy face, my oath should be, by this fire that God's angel, but thou art altogether given over, and wert indeed, but for the light in thy face, the sun of utter darkness, when thou rannest up Ganshill in the night to catch my horse, if I did not think thou hadst been an ignis fatuus, or a ball of wildfire. There's no purchase in money. Oui, thou art a perpetual triumph, an everlasting bonfire light. Thou hast saved me 1,000 marks and links and torches, walking with thee in the night betwixt tavern and tavern, with a sacked, and thou hast drunk me, would have bought me in lights as good cheap as the dearest chandlers in Europe. I have maintained that salamander of yours with fire any time this 32 years. God reward me for it. S'blood, I would my face were in your belly. God a mercy, so should I be sure to be hard burned. Enter mistress quickly. How now, Dame Parlette the hen, have you inquired yet who picked my pocket? Why, Sir John, what do you think? Sir John, do you think I keep thieves in my house? I have searched, I have inquired, so has my husband, man by man, boy by boy, servant by servant. The tithe of a hair was never lost in my house before. You lie, hostess. Bardolph was shaved and lost many a hair, and I'll be sworn my pocket was picked. Go to, you're a woman. Go. Who, I? No, I defy thee. God's light, I was never called so in my own house before. Go to, I know you well enough. No, Sir John, you do not know me. Sir John, I know you. Sir John, you owe me money. Sir John, and now you pick a quarrel to beguile me of it. I bought you a dozen of shirts to your back. Doubtless, filthy doubtless, I have given them away as bakers' wives, and they have made bolters of them. Now, as I am a true woman, Holland, of 8 shillings an ell, you owe me money here besides, Sir John, for your diet and my drinkings, and money lent you £24. He had his part of it. Let him pay. He, alas, he is poor. He hath nothing. How? Poor? Look upon his face. What call you rich? Let them coin his nose. Let them coin his cheeks. I'll not pay a denier. What? Will you make a yonker of me? Shall I not take mine ease and my inn, but I shall have my pocket picked? I have lost the seal ring of my grandfather's worth 40 mark. Oh, Jesu, I have heard the prince tell him, I know not how oft, that the ring was copper. How, the prince is a jack a sneak cup, splut, and he were here, I would cudgel him like a dog if he would say so. Enter the prince of Poins marching. Falstaff beats him plain on his pruncheon like a fife, like a fee-fee. How now, lad? Is the wind in that door, I faith? Must we all march? Yeah, 2 and 2, Newgate fashion? My lord, I pray you, hear me. What sayest thou, mistress, quickly? How doth thy husband? I love him well, he is an honest man. Good my lord, hear me. Prithee, let her alone, and list to me. What sayest thou, Jack? The other night I fell asleep here behind that arras, and my pocket picked. This house is turned bawdy house. They pick pockets. What didst thou lose, Jack? Why, thou believe me. How? 3 or 4 bonds of £40 apiece, and a seal ring of my grandfather's. A trifle, some 8 penny matter. So I told him, my lord, and I said I heard your grace say so. And, my lord, he speaks most vilely of you, like a foul-mouthed man as he is, and said he would cudgel you. What, he did not? There's neither faith, truth, nor manhood in me else. There's no more faith in thee than in a stewed prune, nor no more truth in thee than in a drawn fox. And for womanhood, Maid Marian may be the deputy's wife of the ward to thee. Go, you thing, go.
Sorry, we're gonna have to go around.
Say, what's thing? What's thing? What thing? Why, a thing to thank God on. I am no thing to thank God on. I would thou shouldst know it. I am an honest man's wife, and setting thy knighthood aside, thou art a knave to call me so. Setting thy womanhood aside, thou art a beast to say otherwise. Say what beast? Thou knave, thou? What beast? Why, an otter. An otter, Sir John, why an otter? Why, she's neither fish nor flesh. A man knows not where to have her. Thou art an unjust man in saying so. Thou or any man knows where to have me. Thou, knave, thou. Thou sayest true, hostess, and he slanders thee most grossly. So he doth you, my lord, and says this other day you ought him £1,000. Sirrah, do I owe you £1,000? £1,000? How? 1,000,000. Thy love is worth 1,000,000. Thou owest me thy love. Nay, my lord, he called you Jack, and said he would cudgel you. Did I, Bardolph? Indeed, Sir John, you said so. Yeah, if he said my ring was copper. I say, 'tis copper, darest thou be as good as thy word now? Why, how thou knowest, as thou art but man, I dare. But as thou art prince, I fear thee as I fear the roaring of the lion's whelp. And why not as a lion? The king himself is to be feared as a lion. Dost thou think I'll fear thee as if I fear the father? Nay, and I do. I pray God my girdle break. Oi, if it should, how would thy guts fall upon thy knees? But, sirrah, there's no room for faith, truth, or honesty in this bosom of thine. It is all filled up with guts and midriff. Charge an honest woman with picking thy pocket. Why, thou whoreson, impudent, embossed rascal, if there were anything in thy pocket but tavern reckonings, memorandums of bawdy houses, and 1 poor pennyworth of sugar candy to make thee long-winded, if thy pocket were enriched with any other injuries but these, I am a villain. And yet you will stand to it, and will not pocket up wrong. Art thou not ashamed? And dost thou hear? How? Thou knowest in the state of innocency Adam fell, and what should poor Jack Falstaff do in the days of villainy?